Welcome back to Leeds Lately. This time around, we're going to be having a little look at the transfer window and at the current rumours, which there's not a lot of, but a few more have come out in the last couple of days. So before we get into that, though, we'll have a little chat with the chat. And as well, I kind of put this stream, because there's not that much transfer news as well, it'll be a little bit of a Q&A as well. So doesn't have to be related to this specific stream, doesn't have to be related to the transfers that we've done or the transfers that we're about to do. It could be related to anything to do with the season, anything you actually want to ask me that's completely off topic, anything, we'll do that as well. But welcome. Hi Pierre, welcome to the stream. Hi John Pepper as well, welcome to the stream. Welcome everybody who is in here so far. Let me just change one little setting, because when we have this little thing here, okay, seems like I may not be able to change that. I should have filters on this, which is why it's oh, never mind. Oh well, I look really red, but I don't look that red in real life. Just must be the actual settings that I've got it set up with, but I don't know what that means, Pierre. I'm afraid. I don't know. I've got no idea what that means. But Jeff Sanning saying good day, fine sir. Looks like we are setting up to control midfield battles and be hard to beat. Absolutely, and there's a video that some of the members will have seen already because they get early access to the videos. So if you want to become a member, hit that join button down below and help the channel out. But there's a video that is scheduled to go out tomorrow at 12 p.m. and it's talking about kind of our rivals' transfer windows as well and how they've gone. But what I will say is that when I talk about Leeds, I talk about the fact that it looks like we've purposely set out to buy a spine of a team. And because of that, we're going to be quite solid all through the middle, which is obviously a really good thing. And the kind of missing piece of that puzzle is having a new striker. So if we can get the business done to the point where we've got a new goalkeeper who's come from Lyon and is a very, very good goalkeeper, we've signed Jakob Biol at centre-back with Bornau on the bench, obviously. You've got then Stack and Longstaff in the midfield as well. And if we can get a new striker as well, you've signed a whole new spine of your team, and I think that's going to massively help you out in a relegation battle, having a spine of the team that's basically saying, come on, try and break us down, we're going to be hard to beat. But we also are going to try to play some attacking football as well, which is why that we've kind of made the transfers that we've made, is so that we can still release our fullbacks. Speaking of which, though, we still haven't signed a backup fullback, and we need one, because in that opening game we can't start with Sam Byram over on the right, and we can't start with Isaac Schmidt over on the right. We've seen that Isaac Schmidt's not good enough in that Villarreal game. You don't want to write him off just from that. But throughout the rest of last season, Farke never wanted him to play as an actual fullback and only ever brought him on as a winger. So that tells you a lot about kind of how Farke rates him. Bogle's great. I really like Bogle, and I think he'll do well, especially in forward areas. But if Bogle's going to be injured for the first even few games, we've got to have somebody at right back who can do a job. For me, that looks like someone like James Justin. I think he'd be very good. We've been linked to a Brazilian right back from Shakhtar Donetsk, Vinicius. Let me just check. Vinicius Tobias. We've been linked with from Shakhtar Donetsk, but he is supposedly around 20 million. When you actually look at his player profile on Transfermarkt, he's got a market value of 5 million euros. So, yeah, that would be massively overpaying, paying 20 million for him. And you don't want to pay 20 million for a backup either. So, for me, I think Vinicius Tobias, if it's less than 10 million, then I'm happy with it. And that's kind of the crux of it, really. If it's less than 10 million, I'm happy with it, which obviously is a far cry from the 20 million that it seems like Shakhtar wants. So we can talk a little bit about the striker situation. Obviously, I've put a few in the thumbnail. There was more links. He's good enough for cover, Wayne. Is he? I don't think he is. I don't think Sam Byram should be in a first. No, I disagree. I've changed my mind. I don't think he should be anywhere near a first team squad. I don't think he should be the first team picture. So, no, James Justin is good enough. James Justin's definitely good enough. He's James Justin is somebody who could come in and do a very similar job to Jayden Bogle straight away. And I would be very happy with bringing in James Justin. He'd be my pick, definitely. He's got injury-prone kind of history, but then if he's going to be a backup anyway, you can play left-back and right-back James Justin and do a very good job of both. So that's why I'd like to have him in. When we go to talk about strikers, we've been linked again to Mehdi Taremi, who, let's not get this confused, he's a very good striker, Mehdi Taremi. Before he was at Inter, he was at Porto, did very well in the Champions League and in the Portuguese league as well. Mehdi Taremi is a very good striker. However, he's 33 years old. So if you were bringing him in, it'd have to be for a very low price if you're only going to have him for realistically 1 year, 1 or 2 years. Excuse me, I'm just going to mute whilst I cough so you don't have to listen to it. So for me, Mehdi Taremi is not kind of... But Wayne, your opinion also isn't the one that selects the first team either. So that, yeah, it doesn't matter what either of us think, but then that's the whole point of doing this, isn't it? That everybody's entitled to their opinion. So in terms of Mehdi Taremi, he'd be a very good striker for one season. And I don't think that's the kind of investment that Leeds are wanting to make at the moment. In terms of Alexander Mitrovic, I think that's paper talk. I think it's people thinking, oh, he might be available. Oh, who's just been promoted? Who still needs a striker? And kind of putting them together like this. Yes, he would fit the mould of what we were wanting to do a little bit as well, Alexander Mitrovic, and he's a very good striker. But he's had a few years out of top competitive football, and yeah, we're kind of a bit up in the air about him. So we're still in that space where we're like, well, is it going to happen with Rodrigo Muniz? Is it not? Are we going to still kind of be that that kind of team where we're just waiting until the end of the window and still nothing happens? Someone was saying the other day, I can't remember who it was, that it was either Joe Blackburn or Joe Wainman, one of the Joes, was saying that like 60% of business in the transfer window happens in the last couple of weeks. So we're going to see some movement. We definitely are. And I think that Leeds are just making sure that they get things right. And I have faith that we'll get the right players in. But now we still need 3 signings. A striker. So we've been linked with Mitrovic. We've been linked with that other fella that I just mentioned, Mehdi Taremi. And of course, we still have that link with Rodrigo Muniz, who's always been our primary target. John Garside mentioning Dovbyk as well from Roma. I think that's too ambitious for us. I don't think there's any chance we get Dovbyk, really, for me, just because he's not going to want to drop to the level where he's not got European football anymore. So, yeah, that's where we kind of stand on Dovbyk. I don't think that we'd be able to get that one across the line. But again, he is the kind of player that would fit into what Leeds United want to do. The thing that we have had that's a little bit more concrete, according to rumours, is the Bilal El Canoose deal. Now, Bilal El Canoose supposedly is keen on a Leeds move. Just before we go on, the third kit came out today. So whilst this says the away kit, if you click the link in the description down below, you'll find you'll find a thing that says get your official Leeds United. Do you know what? That might not be the right link. Let me just change the link and let me get you the correct one. But essentially, once I've done this, you'll be able to get your Leeds United kit. We'll move on and we'll come back to this. But Bilal El Canoose is one that apparently Leeds have made inquiries. The player is keen on the move to Leeds. Leeds are happy to pay the £24.5 million release clause, according to reports. So for me personally, I can't see what the holdup is unless they've got a target that's higher up their list than him, that they're thinking we'll go back for him if we can't get our other target. That's the only thing I can think, and we've done that before. Don't forget with Glenn Kamara, we went away and we left him for a long time before going back to him. And then we went back and we got him. And it was one of those things where you were a bit like, oh, so now we really do kind of go back to our old targets at times. So that's what I'm kind of feeling with this Bilal El Canoose one. It's the only reason why I can see that we potentially wouldn't have pulled the trigger yet on the deal. I can't really understand why we wouldn't have. Other than that, that's the only thing really. Let me just change the link in the description down below here so that you can actually. So if you go to the second link in the description, I can save that here. Changes saved. It should be there. So if you want to get the Leeds United third kit or the away kit or any of the Leeds United official merch, make sure you use my link down in the description below, because I get a small kickback from that. And it is at no extra cost to you. It just helps support the channel without you having to send a super chat or whatever. Leicester kid isn't great, to be honest. I think you're in the minority with that opinion. I think a lot of people who have seen him play last season have kind of said, this guy, to quote Harry Redknapp, this guy will go to the top. Right to the very top. You talk about Cannon and those other players we've let go. Well, they weren't good enough. They didn't make the cut. But this boy, he will go to the top. Right to the very, very top. Is what I would imagine that Harry Redknapp would say if he was alongside Bilal El Canoose in a press conference and people were having a go at him for keeping him in the team. Welcome, Rad Music Chat. Ben, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Danny as well. Yeah, subscribe to Daniel Talks Leeds as well, by the way. He's terrific, I tell you, terrific. But also, yeah, we are now, where are we at? We are now, go to YouTube Studio, 9,798, so 202 subscribers needed. 202 subscribers until we hit 10k. So if you're in the stream and you've decided that you want to have a little chat down below, hit that subscribe button. It'll allow you to put stuff in the chat and help me get to 10k. Anyway, the thing is, look, I understand the frustration from a fan's perspective, because obviously I'm also a fan. I understand the fact that it seems like we're not doing anything just because we're not hearing anything in the public eye. But we're not sitting on our hands. Like, they will be working, not 24/7, but they will be working every day of the week. The scouting department, the recruitment department, the people who sign contracts, the people who go and make inquiries at clubs. They will be working the whole time trying to get the exact players in that they need. It was a Harry Redknapp accent, not Michael Caine. They'll be working hard on doing it. It's not like they're not trying. We are the last to know, essentially, as the general public. We're the last to know when a transfer happens or when a transfer is on the verge of happening. So we've got to kind of trust that they'll... Do you know what? I can accept criticism of the transfer business if we've gone to deadline day or the transfer window's closed and we don't have the kind of the personnel that we needed to get through the door. I can understand that. But we can't get... He's still at Fulham. And it is him. It's got to be Rodrigo Muniz is the one that they're going for. They will be still trying for him. And I promise you, he fits perfectly into what we want to do. He's got that potential ceiling, the resale value as well, which they look for. He fits the system. He is good with his hold-up play. He's strong, he's physical, and he's good at finishing. And he really is the kind of striker that a championship promoted to the Premier League team needs to survive in the league, because he will pull you out of holes. But we have to... thanks, CB. Yeah, it's going to be the live watch along background for tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow, Leeds United versus AC Milan will be live on this channel for the live watch along. So yeah, make sure you come back for that at 3:00 tomorrow. Yeah, of course we want signings, but they have to get done in their own time. These things take time. There's contracts, there's negotiations between agents, there's all the different things to go through. Don't panic too much. If we go into the season with Piru and Mecha as our only strikers and the wingers that we've currently got as our only wingers, then yeah, you can start to worry a little bit. In fact, worry a lot. But we don't know that for certain yet, because we've still got 10 days. We've still got 10 days until Leeds' first game. So yeah, we that's kind of, don't panic until then is essentially the news. Now, the other news that we've had is that Leeds United have been linked to Liverpool youngster Ben Doak. Now, Ben Doak spent last season on loan at Middlesbrough. He got, I think, 3 goals and 7 assists as a winger. 10 goal contributions in his season, last season for Middlesbrough. And according to reports, Leeds are... The asking price from Liverpool is over 20 million, which it's a lot. It's too much for him, really. It really is. It's too much for him. It's not the kind of transfer that we should be making at all. For me, it's a big no-no, because if you were a little bit further up in the division and you were a bit more settled, you could afford to take a punt on a youngster. You could afford to take a punt on a youngster like Ben Doak. But because we are in the position we are in, we have to make our transfers count. And bringing him in for 20 million, he'll have to be a starter, and I don't think he's going to have a better output than Wilfred Gnonto or Largi Ramazani. I just don't. 20 million's far too much. And the reason we know it's 20 million, by the way, is because I think in January a couple of clubs made inquiries to Liverpool about Ben Doak, and they said no to £20 million offers. And I just think it's not. It's not a good deal. It shouldn't happen. Now, the other one that we've been linked with is Facundo Buonanotte. Now, Facundo Buonanotte is another player a little bit like Bilal El Canoose, but can play in those kind of forward attacking areas. Let's get some of his stats up. Buonanotte. I've absolutely butchered that spelling, but we've still got it. Facundo Buonanotte. So, for Leicester in the Premier League last season, 5 goals and 2 assists in 31 matches. was what Facundo Buonanotte got. And this was from kind of an attacking midfield role. He's 20 years old, and is somebody who is very, very proficient last season in tackling, interceptions, blocks, clearances and aerials, all the kind of defensive statistics. He's way, way up there for, because it seems as though he's somebody who's got to defend a lot in a team like that. And you kind of do like to see that, especially when we saw Brendan Aronson, Dan James, players like that, they properly track back and they make tackles and help out their fullback. That's what you'd get from Buonanotte. But he's also a good player in terms of creating chances as well. Last season, of course, getting a few goals and a few assists in the Premier League. So, again, it's a similar one. He was at Brighton. He signed for Leicester. Leicester got relegated. He's now kind of available again with 5 goals and 2 assists last season. So, yeah. Those are the ones that we've been linked with this week. To be fair, GZH, if I only reported on what specifically happened today, and hold on a second, wait, let me see. This is a weekly transfer roundup, so we're rounding up everything that's happened this week. That's a good one to mention as well. Jeffrey Meyer, Johnny Rowe, not for me. There is a reason Marseille is replacing him with Paixão. Yeah. If Leeds were really going to go for Jonathan, I just don't see it. He would be a very good signing in the Championship. Getting up to the Premier League, you're fishing in a different pond. You're not going to get Jonathan Rowe as a Premier League player. I just don't. I think that's a Burnley / someone else that's a little bit of a smaller club getting promoted. I think that's their type of signing. I don't see Leeds doing that. I really don't. Agree, Richard. Doak, I wouldn't give more than 10 million plus add-ons. Yeah, me too. I wouldn't either. Maybe a bonus to like an add-on if we stay up. If he gets a certain amount of goals or whatever. Yeah, that's the other point as well. If we could get him on loan, that would be an argument to have. But then, is he going to start over some of the other players in Leeds' team who had a better output than him last season in the Championship? I don't see him getting a start over them. But yeah, I think a lot of Villa fans are thinking that he's probably going to go back there maybe at some point. But yeah, it's still up in the air, this winger position. Before we heard news that Bogle's injured, and now we don't know the severity. I don't think we know the severity of Bogle's injury yet. We'd been told that Bogle, from one source, we've been told that Bogle had done his ankle and would be out till Christmas. From another source, we heard it was his hip and it would be a few weeks. So those are two very different answers there, two very different ends of the spectrum. So we don't know on Bogle. But what it does make us think is, well, now the right back is a massive priority. The right back was a priority, yes, but the striker and winger would have been ahead of that before we'd heard the news that Bogle was injured. I hope so, Pierre. Because we really need a backup fullback, a winger, and a striker. And we've got 10 days till Everton. Links with Kristantas Uche went cold. Could have been a good option for left wing or attacking midfield. Yeah, but the thing is, this is what I always go back to the example of Glenn Kamara when it dragged on and on and on, and people said, and it went completely quiet at one point, and people said, oh, well, they obviously don't want Glenn Kamara, or it was never a real link. And at the end of the window, we went, or later in the window, we went, do you know what? Let's go and get him because we can't get some of our other targets. So you may see that Leeds go, do you know what? This is not working out with Canoose. It's not working out with whoever else they might have been in for those positions. And they might just go, do you know, let's go back. Let's go back to Spain and pick up Uche. So you may see that happen. You may see that happen. We don't know for certain. But yeah, like I said as well, by the way, because there's not that much news this week. Of course, we've got the AC Milan game tomorrow, so we can talk about that a little bit if you want. But because there's not that much news this week, I'm happy to open this up to a bit of a Q&A as well. Could be about general questions this season, about tactics, about certain players that are already in the squad, any kind of random questions that you want to. Any kind of random questions that you want to ask. And obviously, if they're too out there, then I won't answer them, but I'll answer as many as I possibly can. Because at the moment, we are kind of sitting in a little bit of a... sitting in a sinkhole? I mean, that's not the right kind of saying, is it? But yeah, there's something to be said here for patience. There really is. There's something to be said for patience. But I just, panic starts to set in if we get to the Everton game. We haven't made any signings, but I genuinely believe we've got 1 or 2 through the door by the Everton game. In the next 10 days, it's 1 or 2 through the door for me. I think a backup fullback and a winger, and I think strikers. Annoyingly, the striker's probably going to be the one that gets done last, and we're all going to be panicking about it until we bring in the second coming of El Fenomeno. Fenomeno. R9 Ronaldo is who I meant. Not the other one, who must not be named. But yeah, so Borna Sosa was a great pickup for Crystal Palace. Watch this guy score some banging goals from set pieces. Yeah, Borna Sosa, he was the one that was at Stuttgart. He's Croatian, isn't he? But he was somewhere in Germany, or at least he was at one time. But yeah, I've always thought Borna Sosa's been pretty good, especially at international level with Croatia as well. I don't know if Højlund would be an incredible signing for us, you know. Well, Danny raises a good question here. How long do we keep going after Muniz? We can't wait too long because if Fulham don't get a striker, then obviously we're knackered. Yeah, there's a cut off. And I wouldn't be surprised, Danny, if Leeds have already, in the scouting department, set a cut-off date and gone, if we can't get him by this date, if we can't agree a deal by this date, we're going and buying this other striker. And I honestly think whenever Leeds make that decision to go, we're not going with Muniz, I think it'll be the day after or something. We'll have signed a different striker. I think so. I think it's going to be like that. Looks like Ramazani's going to struggle to get game time under Farke, just hoping Harrison doesn't start in front of him. See, I know that Daniel Farke gets to see a lot more of the players than we do. And he gets to see them in the training sessions and in the gym and in the day-to-day and in the meetings and all of that sort of thing. I know that, and he sees so much more of it than we do. But I can't understand why Ramazani didn't get more game time last season. And look, this comes with the caveat that Leeds got promoted with 100 points, so obviously Daniel Farke knew what he was doing with the situation. But for me, Ramazani, every single time he comes on the pitch, he looks explosive. He looks like he's going to knock the ball past a player and shoot from the edge of the box and test the goalkeeper. The moment he came on against Villarreal, he cut inside, shot through someone's legs and made the goalkeeper have to make a save. So I think that Ramazani is going to play a bigger part than a lot of people are thinking this season. I had a comment the other day saying that, what's the point of signing anyone on the wings when Farke's just going to play Aronson over them anyway? I don't know where this is coming from. What I can think is that people have got a bit confused, because last season, the only reason that Brendan Aronson played so many games is because we were playing with a system with the number 10 and we didn't have another number 10. So Aronson had to play because we literally didn't have any backup in that position. This season, at least in pre-season, it looks as though Leeds are playing a 4-3-3, which means that Aronson would then be classed as a winger. But Aronson will go to the back of the list. You'll have Dan James on the right, or maybe he would be the second choice on the list on the right-hand side. Dan James on the right, Aronson as a backup, and then you've got Ramazani and Nonto on the left. Hopefully we get rid of Harrison and we bring somebody else in. But that's what I'm seeing with Ramazani. I think Ramazani and Nonto should be fighting for that position. I really do. We'll get through these quick. Andy D saying signing Giants will look awkward if we had no set piece taker. Yeah, I did. I made a video about this the other week, and I was saying in the video before Paixão went to Marseille, Paixão was a great free kick taker. So is Delane Bakwa as well at Strasbourg, who we're also linked with. That one's gone quiet. I think whoever comes in and takes our set pieces is going to have a big impact on our goal output this season. BMG saying Højlund could be good, but I've heard he's only on about 80k. Can you believe that in modern football we're saying, he's only on £80,000 a week? It's ridiculous. But he could also be crap. Ex-Scum players often improve when they leave, though. That's true. And there's not as much pressure as there is at Scum. So, but I can't see us getting it, especially given the fact he would have to come from there straight to us, which doesn't happen very often. Is Lucas Perry starting tomorrow? I can't wait to see him play. Well, apparently, and this kind of goes in with John's comment here as well. I hope Lucas Perry's starting, but I think I read somewhere that Leeds are supposedly going to play as strong a lineup as we can for this game. As strong a lineup as we can to try and get a feel for how close we are. Apparently AC Milan are also playing another game like two days before or something. So they could be playing a bit of a weakened team. So this could be a chance for us to get one over on a massive club like AC Milan, which would be amazing, wouldn't it? Don Matteo coming on and scoring a header. Where were we? Square Ball and Dorigo suggests Farke prefers Aronson over Ramazani because Ramazani doesn't follow instructions. I get it, but this is a genuine kind of frustration I have with modern football, and I like tactics. And I like the kind of movements that they're supposed to make and this kind of having a structure and having a team set up. But I still think within the kind of rigid modern tactical system, there's room for somebody like Ramazani who picks the ball up and goes, do you know what, I'm going down the line. Or do you know what I mean? Like, he's not going, okay, if I pass the ball here, then I have to make this move here because Farke said that's where I should be, etc., etc. I think sometimes you need a bit of flair and a little bit of, he's done something different, and then everyone's kind of out of position on the opposition team. Harrison is not injured and was protected from the fans against Villarreal. Yeah, it was at Elland Road, wasn't it? So you wouldn't have wanted to play him. It'd be okay. I'd be okay if it was Darlow for the first half, then Perry for the second. Yeah, I do want to see Perry in there. Can't see much point in letting Bamford rot on the bench. Club must be confident someone is coming in. Yeah, because as well, and what we haven't mentioned already is that Mateo Joseph has gone to Mallorca on loan. So I don't think it's official yet, but literally someone took a picture of him getting on a Jet2 flight. So therefore, Mateo Joseph's gone. Joffy's gone back to Hull, or he's going back to Hull. So then you've got Peru and Mecha, and Bamford is been told he's no longer coming in. So they must be very confident that they're going to get a striker. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let Ramazan. They wouldn't have let Mateo Joseph go. There's a lot of fake news sites now. There's a lot of fake news sites. They just make things up for a click. Look, people will come at content creators like myself and say that we're clickbait merchants, that we're making things up, etc. But the purpose of my video is not to report news, and it never has been. As a creator, I've never been reporting the news. These outlets, I won't name them in case they decide to come after me, but a lot of these outlets that you see, specifically the online ones that don't actually have a newspaper, they will just make up a transfer rumour and it'll get clicks because Leeds fans want to know about Leeds. I think that's so much worse than what content creators like myself do. I might say Cristantus Uche to Leeds, ? And I put the question mark in to say, like, is he going to come to Leeds? It's a question. Is Cristantus Uche going to come to Leeds is the question. But when you actually go on the content of the video, that's just to get a click. The content of the video is a service that I feel I provide for Leeds fans to say, oh, look, Leeds have been linked with this player. Here he is. Here's how he did last season. Here's how many goals, how many assists he got. Here's how many chances he created. Here's how he might fit into the Leeds system. That's where I stand on it. So I also get annoyed at these websites that just make up news. So, and there's been so much of it. It's been so prevalent since we've come back to the Premier League that it can become very, very frustrating and people don't know what to believe. And then, but that's what's annoying as well. It actually ruins some of the intrigue of the transfer window for some people, because some people say, I'm not watching any transfer videos or I'm not reading any transfer stuff until the end of the window, until it's a done deal. I won't believe it until it's done. Which, yeah, you don't have to believe it until it's done, but we can talk about the fact that Leeds have been linked with a player and here's what they look like, here's how they might play, and that's still interesting. But these kind of, because it's, like Pierre says, because it's like a written article, people then tend to believe it and tend to be like, oh, this must be written. It must be official because it's written, because you can't see a guy sat there making it up. Whereas with me, you can see me sat here and you can see the whites of my eyes as I talk to you. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are with it. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, but like I said before, it is a bit of a Q&A this time around, a little bit of a Q&A session as well, because the transfers, like, ask anything you want to know about, anything that I feel like I can answer with my opinion or with whatever fact I have to back it up. Ask about Leeds United, ask about anything. And of course, like Danny says, smash a like and subscribe, please, because we are so close now to 10k. So close. We are on 8,799, 201 subscribers until the big 10k, which I never thought would ever happen, by the way. I really didn't. When I started this channel, I did a reaction to Leeds versus Spurs and a preview to Leeds versus Brighton or something. And it was about 50 views or something. And then I think I did the Leeds versus Crawley match reaction. That got about 1,200 views on my second video ever. So I was like, oh, I can do this. But then back down to 30, 40, 50 views. But I just kept plugging away, and now we're nearly at 10k, which is mad. We had a question here. Question from Danny Talks Leeds. Who or what got you into supporting Leeds, Max? Mine was my dad. Mine's my dad as well. Funnily enough, my dad is originally from Crawley, just south of London. So nowhere near Leeds. I've never really lived anywhere near Leeds, but my dad supported Leeds. Leeds were one of the best teams in the world when my dad was growing up. So you can guess that we come from. It's mad to say that you come from a generation of glory support for Leeds United, considering kind of what we've had for the last 20 years. But yeah, my dad supports Leeds, so I support Leeds, and I would never have it any other way. This is another question. Welcome to the stream, Jim. Why does Max's desk remind me of Ron Swanson in Parks and Recreation? Now, I know who that is, but I haven't seen the show. But I can imagine. Yeah, I thought I'd try this out. I am obviously too big for the little desk, but it's you suspend belief for Suspend belief for a live stream. PS saying it's amazing. I've listened to all the content creators, but whittled it down to 3. Who are the other 2? Joe Blackburn's one, because I think you remember there as well, aren't you? You've been cheating on me. Where do I live? Well, I did live in Lancaster, but I'm originally from the South Lakes area, and now I've moved again. So you can have my old city, but not where I live now. Michael saying, Max's Leeds lately podcast your full-time work, and as your podcast grows bigger, how do you plan to develop? So it kind of is. I quit my job not too long ago, only a few weeks ago really. So I'm a freelance graphic designer as well. So I can do like full brand identity packages with logos and typesets and color palettes and everything for a brand, or even design magazine layouts, anything that's kind of graphic design stuff. I will do as a freelancer, even make it like designing merch and stuff for people. So that's one line of income, and the other one is, so between that and the YouTube, that's what I'm hoping to be my full-time thing. Some sponsorship stuff potentially in the works at the moment, which we'll find out about in the next week or so. But down below there is the join button, so people can become channel members. So if you click the join button down below, you can become a channel member, and essentially the benefits are you get priority access to replies in the comments and in the live stream. So I'll make sure I always, like, the priority is I'll answer the members first. And the other thing is that at the moment, a kind of new benefit of it since the transfer window's been going on, since there's been less live streams, you get the videos early. So there's a video coming out tomorrow at 12, and there's a video coming out tomorrow at 12, and the members can watch that early. And sometimes it's up to like 3 or 4 days in advance, and they'll be able to watch it early. So that's one of the benefits as well. But yeah, so essentially through the memberships, through hopefully getting some more graphic design clients and stuff as well, and through the channel, that's kind of, yeah, that's the answer to that question is. Thanks, Penny. Yeah, I'm trying it out for the live watch long. You'll see it tomorrow if you want to check it out whilst we're playing at AC Milan. I'll be doing a live watch long for that, so we'll get the gang back together. Era of 70s Leeds United, when PSR changes. Well, late 60s, early 70s, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, one day we'll get back to it. BMG saying the transfer news is very likely a combination of real news, unsubstantiated rumour, clickbait, agent talk, and everything in between. Lots of noise in there. Absolutely, there is. But the one benefit to us as creators is it gives us a lot of videos to make. During the summer, we have so many videos to make, which is why then, like, weirdly, during the season, there's not that many videos to make. You've got your match reactions and the live watch along. So that's a match reaction and a live watch along is 2 videos, or a live stream and a video in your week. But then you've also got the other 2 slots of a week to fill. So for me, that would be my Tuesday and Thursday videos. So I'm thinking, and I suppose I could put this out there for you guys because you are the audience. In terms of content, I was thinking of trying to do a tactical preview for every game. So on the Thursday before, no, actually, sorry, because we play Everton on Monday, on the Saturday before the Monday for that game, I would do a tactical preview or talk about here's how Everton play under David Moyes, here's how Leeds might play against them. 10-minute video gives an idea that then when you're watching the game, you can look out for things and go, oh yeah, I can see what they're trying in that situation. So what do you think about that as a concept? We go for a match preview, a tactical preview, which obviously is a bit different from the normal previews that you see on other people's channels. Makes it a little bit more unique to Leeds lately. And then on the other day of the week, I suppose that could be a miscellaneous video. So a Tuesday could be a miscellaneous video, could be anything. But the rest of them could be, scheduled, set things. Somebody asked Mecha or Piru. Now, I made a video the other day who will be the starting lineup. So if you want to check that out, anybody who's not seen it after this, I talked about who is going to start for Leeds in the game against Everton. And I did put Mecha in as the striker. And people are saying, how can you put Mecha in when Piru scored 4 goals in pre-season? Context is very important. Piru scored most of those goals against second division German sides. I really like Joel Piru. He's one of my favourite players at the club. And he does a very, very good job in front of goal. But I'm not... In the Premier League, it's a different kettle of fish. We're talking about who's the best for the situation. And for me, in this game, I think it might be Mecha because of what he offers in his hold-up play against some very physical defenders that Everton have. So for me, Mecha is the answer to that question. I think I answer too much in depth. Noel Dunn saying Longstaff should be the bench option only. Can't really understand why people think he's a first choice. All about opinions, I suppose. I should tell you what, I use that too often. I was going to say I got slaughtered for this, but I did get a little bit of stick for saying that if Leeds bring Longstaff in, you should be a bench option. And from what we saw against Villarreal, it's one game. What we saw against Villarreal. He was very good at being in the right area at the right time to pick off passes and to win the ball and to turn it over. But then his next pass was shocking 3 times. I think he lost the ball 3 out of 5 passes in the first half or something. It was forward passes. It was poor. So I think he's very rusty and he needs more game time. In the first game, I put Tanaka ahead of him in my lineup video. So that's where I kind of stand on him at the moment. I don't stand on him because I don't want him to get injured. I don't know who that is, BMG, so you'll have to explain that to me. When Leeds United were last in the Premier League, do you think the players recruited so far an upgrade on the players Leeds recruited in the first Bielsa season? See, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because we haven't seen them play yet, but when we have a look at... See, it all blends into one for me. I can't remember who exactly we signed, but when we compare them player for player, for some of the ones we signed, you bring in Yacobillo. Robin Koch's a very good player, but Diego Llorente was a bit headless chicken at times. Robin Koch's a good player, and he's gone on to do well for Frankfurt. I think we basically knocked his confidence. We put bullets in his confidence by playing the way that we did and kind of just having him dragged around all over the spot. But Biol's a very good, solid player, so probably comparable Stack over Rocker any day of the week, over any of those other holding midfielders we signed, Tyler Adams or any of them like that. So, yeah, that's where I kind of stand on that one. But yeah, there was Rafinha as well. I was the captain, Michael. Did you watch it? I was literally the captain, and I designed the kits as well. Going back to what you asked before about what I do, I designed the kits for that game, and I was the captain of the Peacocks. So I don't have my captain's armband. It's somewhere. Captain's armband somewhere, but I haven't got it with me. That was just a cat toy starting to go off. I was very confused. We're just looking through here to see what other questions we have. Talking about clickbait, on one channel yesterday they were saying that Ampadu has left Leeds, presuming it's absolute tosh. I've not heard that. I'll have a look. Yeah, I don't see anything there. I knew that there wouldn't be, but it would be. Yeah, I think it's, to put it lightly, it's bollocks. But yeah. Update is that there is no update. But if you were here last week, so you know that this is just a transfer roundup, and it's scheduled no matter what happens to just have a chat and talk about it, because people like talking about Leeds United. So, like, it's not. I'm not. I don't work for the club, and I'm not a journalist. So expecting breaking news from me is a bit too much to ask. Like, I'm not. What's the stream called? I think it's just Leeds United transfer update live. Latest news here. Well, I am bringing in the latest news. All the news from this week is what we've been talking about, and we've gone through it all now. So we're just doing a bit of Q&A. So let's chill, join in, ask a question. Okay, BMG, I won't read that comment out, but thanks. Yeah, I think we will get a marquee signing. I think we will, and it'll be the striker position, but we've just got to hold out hope for it, really. Longstaff is the only player who we have signed who has played in the Premier League. Do you think this could affect us? Great question, Richard. Great question indeed. And I'll tell you for why. I wrote a thread a little while ago. I wrote a thread. Let's see if we can find it, because I spoke specifically about this. Who will say over and over and over again, "Oh, this guy's crap. Never played in the Premier League before. Who are these no names?" And I'm not saying that you're saying this, Richard, at all. I'm not saying that you're saying this at all. But what I'm saying is, my response to the whole, "Oh, he's terrible because we've not heard of him," is just because you may not have heard of him, whoever it may be, does not mean that he's not a good player. It just means that you haven't heard of him. So that's for me. Where is it? I had a whole thing about this, and I'm trying to find it because it seems to be, it can't have been that long ago. It was during this transfer window. Was it before? Must have been before Junior Firpo. Bloody hell. June the 29th, I was on 8,981 and I was asking for 9k. Bloody hell. Where is it? Where is it? I wrote a whole thing and it's much more eloquent because I actually had time to think of it. It's much more eloquent than I could just think of off the top of my head now. Here we go. I've got it here. Right. Let me read this out to you because I think it's quite a good point that you make. And we'll come back to the membership. And in fact, no, we'll do it now. SpongeBob Dave, thank you so much for becoming a Leeds Lately member. I really appreciate that. You'll get access to videos before they go out. In fact, tonight you will be able to watch the video that's supposedly coming out tomorrow. You'll get priority access to replies in streams and videos and everything. So thank you very much for becoming a member. Let's just read this out and then we'll go back to the thing again. So in my tweets, I said, I think the whole Premier League experienced thing is a bit of a myth. If you recruit right with the right player profiles, which is important, player profiles as in identifying someone who's really going to fit your system, and proper database recruitment, you can eliminate some of the shortfalls of previous failed transfers from abroad into the Prem. Furthermore, if you take into consideration the league, physicality and statistics of a player, plus the eye test on the way that they play and would fit into your current system, the kind of transfers that Brighton have made in the last 5 years can be achieved. Which is why data is so important and the willingness to say no to a deal if it isn't quite right for the money. Every transfer is a risk, but these can be mitigated with proper recruitment. We have this Premier League experience expectation based on terrible transfers that the likes of Man United and Chelsea have made over the years, where they just throw money at anyone who looks like they might have high potential without recruiting for the manager and system and knowing when to say no to a deal that's becoming too expensive. Think Mikhailo Mudryk, think Jadon Sancho. The amount of money that you need to spend on a player of similar quality from a Premier League club to a European club is vastly different based on Prem experience factor. In summary, don't panic that all our links are abroad. If done right, we get more players, more quality, and more success. And this was on June the 19th. And I still stand by that now. I don't think that the actual Premier League proven thing needs to be so much of a thing. I don't. Anyway, I never put it on the screen, but thanks SpongeBob Dave so much for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. Let's have a look at any other questions that we have. We kept Villarreal under control and got a draw. How did Arsenal do against them? Villarreal finished in 5th last season in La Liga in a Champions League spot and are going to be playing Champions League football this season, and we did very well against them. So let's just say that. What does that mean, Richard? The Blades Ramble do a 90 after 90. Like an hour and a half live stream after the game. Is that what you mean? Let me know. We've been linked with Troy Parrott in the past. I think he would be great. Thoughts? I think he would be great if we didn't have Mecha and Peru. Like if we needed 2 strikers, I don't see Troy Parrott being as a starter for Leeds. We need somebody who is, I don't know. He doesn't ring true to me that he would be the right guy. That's where I kind of sit on it. I don't trust the 49ers. Too slow for the first lot of fine, but we need 4 more minimum. We need 3 more. 3 more. A backup fullback, a winger, and a striker. That's what we need. But when you look at all the other clubs, look at Wolves, look at Brentford, they've only done 4 transfers, and we've done 7. So I think that we are kind of this is just what happens in a transfer window. They're not too slow. Everybody makes a lot of deals towards the end of the window. Don't panic too much on that. Evening, Johnny Peacock. Welcome to the stream. This is what I mean, though, Richard. For example, let's take Anton Stack as a perfect example. If you'd have signed somebody of Anton Stack's quality that was already in the Premier League at a Premier League club, you're looking at paying 35, 40 million pounds for them. We paid 20 for Anton Stack. Leeds have looked at, okay, Bundesliga is probably the most similar in terms of pace and style to the Premier League, and quality as well in the Europe's top 5 leagues. He's also strong physically, tall, athletic, and has a passing range that suits the Premier League. So I think all of that they've looked at, they kind of know that he's just going to take to it like a duck to water. We are going to end the stream in a minute because usually this stream is just an hour, but we'll see if there's any more interesting questions just before we go. John Pepper saying, if Peru and Mecha get injured, how quickly do you think they will react? Well, I think they're going to buy someone anyway. That's the point here, John. They're going to buy someone anyway, so I don't think it makes a difference if before the transfer window ends, one of them gets injured. I still think that we're going to do the same business and we're still just going to go and get a new striker. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Leeds are going to buy one. Like, I can't remember who it was that said before, so apologies for this. Let me know. We said that, and now it's gone out of my head. What was it? That was it. I've remembered. Sorry about that. I had a complete brain fog. So the point was, somebody said Bamford has been allowed to go down to the under-21s. Right? Bamford has been allowed to go down to the under-21s. Or allowed. Been told. And Mateo Joseph has gone out to Mallorca. Which means you're left with Peru and Mecha as the 2 strikers. And we don't have anybody else who is a striker. 2 strikers, and that isn't enough for a Premier League season, because if one gets injured, you're looking at 1 striker playing all season and risking whether they would get injured and you've got no one. We do not want to be back. I love Dan James and I think he's brilliant as a right winger. We do not want to get back to the point where we have to put Dan James up front or Nonto up front. We need somebody strong and physical who can hold the ball up, and those 2 are neither of those things. So, for me, we have to we have to bring in that striker, no matter what happens. Richard Todd saying about 90 after 90. The only thing is, I would be doing a live watch-along for 2 hours. Then I have to hop off the live watch-along and instantly record a match reaction and then put that out. To do another live stream for another 45 minutes, an hour after that even would be too much, I think. And do you know what as well? You may think, oh yeah, well, some of us have got proper jobs and we actually work a lot harder than you just sit in a chair and talk. And I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but until you do this, I don't think you realise how knackered you are after just constantly talking for, obviously this is not too bad because it's only an hour, but the live stream is like 2 hours of constant talking and quick as well, because you're having to commentate on what's happening. And then you do a match reaction where you have to have energy for it straight after it. Then you have to edit it, make a thumbnail, put it out. So I would be open to doing it on a different day maybe, or maybe like a membership phone in or something, a little bit like what the Square Ball do where they have people leave voice notes. I just don't want to give out my actual phone number. But if I could set up something, I wonder if I can I'll look into it. I wonder if I can set something up where it's like a link and you can essentially leave a voice note and then I'll listen to your voice notes and react to them on a video on the Sunday or whatever. It'll be like Leeds fans react to whatever game it was. Please someone answer my question, please. What was your question, John? Because I did spend quite a while asking. Yeah, I did. I just spent quite a while answering your question. But yeah, I'll think about that. But anyway, yeah, if you want to support the channel and you want to get any of the Leeds kits or any of the Leeds stuff at all, go down to the link in the description below and click on the Leeds store. That's my affiliate link. The other thing is, whilst I've got you here, go to my Etsy page. If you see anything that you like, that you want to print for your bedroom wall, your man cave, or your wherever, your office, or wherever you would want to have it, if you like something, make a purchase. If you don't, just like the shop on Etsy. That would massively help me out. Like I say, that's the kind of graphic design side of things as well. I thought I would try and diversify a little bit and make some Leeds United artwork. So there's some that I'm thinking of putting some of them on sale soon. There's the Champions Again Ole Ole prints, which obviously is a little bit time sensitive, so I might start putting them on sale a little bit. But the other ones, there's plenty on there. There's some Leeds Legends prints. There's loads of different ones. So give the Etsy link in the description down below a click. Have a look. If there's anything you want, make a purchase. I will get it wrapped up and sent out to you ASAP. So, yeah. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately. There is a video out tomorrow at 12 detailing Burnley's transfer business, Wolves, Brentford, Everton and Sunderland, and comparing it to Leeds' transfer business. So that's a video for tomorrow at 12. Then you've also got Leeds versus AC Milan at 2:45, 15 minutes before kickoff. I will be live for that. And yeah, there's loads to sub for. And of course, next week there'll be more videos as well. Hopefully we'll be making some signings. And then this time next week, you can all come back here for hopefully a video where we can talk about some new signings. So thanks for watching Leeds Lately. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for making this a great community. Try and hit that like button on your way out if you haven't already. Hit that sub button if you're new here. Hit that join button if you want to support the channel. And it's a 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. 3 o'clock kickoff, but I'll be live from 2:45, 15 minutes before. So we'll have a little chat and then we'll go into the game. So yeah, thanks for being a great community. Thanks to all the Leeds Lately members for your continued support as well, because you really helped me out. And yeah, we'll be live tomorrow, but there's also a video at 12 as well, so make sure you check that out before. And those of you who are always asking to see the cat, those of you who are asking to see the cat, there is a YouTube short out today where she jumped on the desk and I put a little picture of side by side with the cop cat. So if you want to see the cat, go and watch that YouTube short from today. But yeah, do all those good stuff. Click all the buttons down below. Click all the links. Do all that good stuff. Yeah. And we'll be. I think it's free on DAZN, you know, tomorrow. But yes, we'll be back tomorrow afternoon with a live stream. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately. Thanks for sticking around. We're nearly at 10K. I'll see you in the next one.